Thank you for joining me for my presentation, Teaching Young Learners in Poverty, Literacy Readiness Skills by me, Holly Winter Huppert with Winuply Education in New York. I'm honored to have been selected by TERA, the Teaching and Educational Research Association's International Conference, say that 3 times fast, which is promoted by the Eurasia Research Institute in Dubai this year. Sorry, Dubai, I can't make it there in person. Catch you next time. I am a lecturer, an educational consultant, and an educator. Feel free to connect with me at hollywinter.com. So in this program today, I want to talk about how we can help children in poverty with their literacy readiness skills. How can we teach them? What can we do for these children who need our help desperately? Every community has these children who are living at or below the poverty line. The community where I am doing my research, 80% of the children that live in this area live below the poverty line. Okay, my first step to tell you is you do not need a lot of money. I'm tired of seeing programs around the world spending an enormous amount of money to help young learners. You don't have to spend a lot of money on big, expensive programs. You just need some learning materials. You can buy them anywhere. And children at this age learn 3 different ways. Here's how you're going to get your literacy readiness skills: through playing, drawing, and storytelling. Now don't say, hey, we already know this. I know you know part of this, but all of my research around the world is showing me that so many people are trying to put pencils in the hand of young children before they are ready. So follow me here. Let's talk about how children can best learn. All right, first, there are 3 premises of our young learners, 3 things that we have to remember. First of all, children have to learn at their own level. If we ask this young boy here, please build your own bookshelves to store your toys, he couldn't do it. It's not at his level. Young children have to learn through discovery. If you are spending your time saying to young children, touch the flower here, smell the flower here, this little girl has to look at the flower on her own time and touch it in her own way. She has to discover the flower for herself. If you're just telling her about the flower, that's boring. And keep in mind, when it comes to young learners, they have to be ready to learn. This infant is not ready to walk a mile. This infant is not ready to color a picture or start speaking even. So the important thing to remember when it comes to playing and children is that the play has to be independent play, and it has to be self-directed. So if there is a teacher zooming in to tell the children, I want you to put the blue block on top of the red block, that is not independent play, it is not self-directed. Children who have never played with blocks before will take the blocks and spread them out. And then if you're lucky and you have an classroom culture where children clean up, then they will put them away, and then they will spread them out and put them away. And then one day, a child will take one block and put a second block on top. It's not your job to model it or tell them. You have to give them time to direct their own independent play. So, all right, this is important. How about a ball? What learning skills could a child learn from playing with a ball? Just on their own, outside, throwing it around. They're going to learn tracking. Your eyes have to learn to move, not even together. One eye moves faster when you're learning to read, and the other eye has to look exactly at the word. Same thing happens when you throw a ball. Your children are learning tracking, your students. Scanning, being able to throw the ball, and you have to scan to find out where the ball landed and then be able to go right to that area. You don't want your child going over here. I don't see the ball. Over here. You want them to be able to look and go, oh, it's over there. Got it. Planning. I'm going to throw the ball over by the swing. You want your child, it's just the beginning stages of all these important things, transferring from hand to hand, getting the brain to follow what you want to do. Important lesson. Fine motor skills. I know you want your children to have
good handwriting when they get older. Well, guess what? Using that ball is going to help their fine motor skills, help those muscles in their hand start to develop. Gross motor skills. You want your children, your students, to be able to run without falling all the time. So having that ball is teaching those skills as well. Spatial awareness. What is around me? There's a tree right there. If I throw the ball right there, it's going to hit the tree. Uncomfortable. Problem solving. If I take this ball and I drop it down a storm drain, I'm not going to see it anymore. If I take this ball and I put it on a swing, what's going to happen? That's fun. It's fun to watch kids do that. Try that. Attention and focus probably should be number one, but none of these are in order. You want young children to learn attention and focus. Playing with a ball is a very good way to do it. Okay, let's look at blocks. You're going to get all of the same things with blocks, except research has shown children will have increased problem-solving skills when they play with blocks. And studies have also shown, many studies, that when children get to middle school and high school later on in their school years, so in the United States we call middle school like 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th grade. They're children that are, say, 12 to 14 or 15 years old. If they played with blocks as children, they're going to be better at geometry, better at math just from playing with blocks. So it helps with all literacy skills, math skills, so many things you want your children to. So how are we enhancing literacy skills through play? By using balls, puzzles, sorting works. You just take a big bowl and you put in some beads and some cubes, some colored rocks, anything you have. And you don't tell the kids what to do with them. And they'll say, what am I supposed to do with this? And you go, whatever you want. Maybe they'll pile them on top of each other and make a mountain. Maybe they'll line them all up in a long line. And then one day, maybe they'll sort them by color. They'll put all the red together, all the blue together, all the yellow. And you don't tell them what to do, because not one of those activities is better than another. You want to give blocks. It can be square blocks. It can be rectangular blocks. It can be triangular blocks. It can be Legos, whatever you want. Things for children to play with. You're not telling them, look how many triangles you need to make a circle. You're letting them discover that for themselves. These are young children. Make-believe is really helping their literacy skills, and there's so many more things. You want to give young children not these intense curriculums, but time to play. That's really important. Make sure that is scheduled into every single day. At my school, our very minimum for play every day is 2 hours. That includes inside play, outside play. Just so you know, I am researching in a Montessori school, and in Montessori, the playtime is called work. So, so the kids understand they're not just doing whatever they want with the work. They can't just kick it around the room. They have to do learning activities. They have to have it on a table and move things around and plan them out. All right, I have to say this. Playing does not include anything that is on a screen. I know there are things you can learn on a screen, but playing on any kind of tablet or computer or electronic game, even if they're learning skills, we want our children, 3, 4, and 5-year-olds, to learn by playing. Screens off. Thank you. So let's talk about drawing. There are 2 things we want to talk about with drawing, and it's very similar. It's an independent play drawing and a self-directed. For independent play, your child might just be scribbling. That's okay. This is actually a really important part of literacy readiness. And it's self-directed. They get to say, I only will color with red today. Do it. That's okay. Drawing is playtime. Now notice this young child hasn't chosen which hand to use. That's okay. After a while, we really do want to help them decide if they're left-handed or right-handed. Because before you can learn to write, which is the literacy readiness we're talking about, you have to be able to do 3 things. You have to be able to draw a circle, you have to be able to draw a line, and you have to be able to draw a diagonal line. Once you can draw these things, you can learn to make letters and numbers and symbols that are really important. So the more your child draws, don't tell them what to do. Don't tell them how to do that. Don't be upset if they just draw a little tiny corner. There, little tiny picture down in the corner. That's okay. Let them develop independently. Draw and draw and draw. It will improve. They just need time. Give them time to draw and materials, whatever you have. So again, these children in poverty that are coming to your learning institutions and your schools, I didn't say you have to have an expensive curriculum to teach them how to have better handwriting at a young age. I didn't say that they need a special curriculum to learn how to draw. No, they just need paper and time, or a chalkboard and time, or whatever you can. I don't care if they're drawing in the sand. They just need time. If you would like to learn more about writing and children and the developmental levels, check out my YouTube video, Writing Masterclass for Parents of Young Children. It's available to anyone at any time. All right, I'm going to say this also when it comes to drawing. The development we're seeking is not happening on a screen. I don't care if you have a special touchpad and special materials and little pens that you can use on your computer. No, we're talking about the tactile, learning how to hold, learning how to move something to make pictures or scribbles. All right, let's talk about storytelling. Now, again, all of these ideas that I have for you are really inexpensive. This is my favorite. Now, obviously, if you're reading books aloud, you have to have books. But if you don't have books, you can tell stories to children. Now, this is really important because you have a wealth of information. So when it comes to storytelling, yeah, you can read aloud. It really matters. And by the way, the best way for kids to learn is sitting on mom or dad's lap or auntie or uncle or whoever they know. But even at school with a teacher, that really, really helps. We just want them to hear words so they can develop a vocabulary. This is helping them get ready to learn to read and write by hearing and listening to books. So when it comes to telling a story, you want a short story. You want it to be of interest to the kids. And bonus, if you have a way during the story that you're asking for help. So this is a video I made when some of my students were working remotely, my young students. How do you teach writing to 3, 4, and 5-year-olds that are working remotely during the coronavirus pandemic? So I made these videos and the kids went wild for them. Now, normally I tell these stories in person. This is how I help kids develop their writing. I tell a story and then they want to go draw a spider. So I'm going to let you listen to this. It's only 1 minute long.
So when I was watering my plants yesterday and I was giving them all a nice little drink, I noticed one of my plants has an enormous spider living in it with a very big spider web. That spider's been very busy. And I don't really want to have spiders living in my house. I prefer that they live outside. But maybe there are bugs that the spider's eating. I didn't see any bugs, but the spider has to eat, and so there must be bugs that the spider is eating in the plant. I don't really want to live with a spider. What do you think? What is your opinion? Should I leave the spider in the plant or move the spider outside?
Again, with storytelling, we're not talking about children sitting in front of a TV or a computer screen listening to stories. Even if it's somebody reading a book, it is not the best way for them to learn. If you don't have a lot of books, tell them stories. Hey, today I was at the grocery store and I saw a woman with a funny hat. Today I heard a bird singing and I couldn't find it and I kept looking around and then I think I found the bird. Find little stories to tell them to get them interested in words and help their vocabulary. What do we want for our children? When they are ready, we want them to love learning and be excited about it. So keep that in mind. We're doing all of these readiness skills so children are ready and happy to learn. So I hope you have enjoyed this presentation on teaching young learners in poverty literacy readiness skills that don't cost a lot of money. I know, I have to keep saying that because that is what our research is showing. Children who have very expensive curriculums do not do better. Thank you. My contact information, just go to hollywinter.com and you can find out everything you need to know. Reach out, say hello. I'm so happy to be here with you today. Thank you for your time and attention.